Need a team of reindeer to do it because we've added more vehicles to our fleet. And while we don't employ a legion of elves, we have hired thousands of new members for our team. So if making more holiday deliveries to homes in the U.S. than anyone else seems like magic, that means we're doing our job. Share the magic at USPS.com/helpers.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681, offices in Baton Rouge. The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine, on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From the Jamborees to the Superdome, your source for the most up-to-date scores and stats is right here. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, and Cade Wazan.
Good evening and welcome to the playoff round one edition of the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy. It's playoff time here in the state of Louisiana for high school football. The road to the Dome starts tonight. 8 brackets to discuss, 4 non-select, 4 on the select side. You've got 24 team brackets on the select side and 28 team brackets on the non-select side. 8 buys on the select side of the brackets and 4 for each team or for each bracket on the non-selects. A lot of area teams not in play tonight, but a lot of games going on here in Baton Rouge and around the state, and we're going to update you on all of them. You can always follow us on Twitter at Louisiana Prep, and you can follow the ticker on the bottom of the screen if you're watching on your view or the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel to get scores, final scores throughout the night. But we're giving you every score, every final tonight from the select and non-select side. We went out to our walk-ons game of the week a little earlier this evening to watch Dutchtown and Parkway, a game that started out a little slow, and we'll get into more of it a little bit later. But once that offense started clicking for Dutchtown, maybe 1 or 2 passes opened up the run game for Coach Guy Mistretta. They got rolling in that first half.
They did, and kind of surprised me a little bit. I thought it was going to be a lower scoring game with that, with their defense, and their defense did do a heck of a job almost throwing a shutout. But they got the run game going, and I thought Pearson Perron hit a big play right before on their first scoring drive. Todd, they had a little play action pass. They hit a pop pass to a tight end for a touchdown. He didn't throw it much, but when he threw it, he was effective, and that's all you have to be, just enough to keep him honest. He was three out of his first 4. He overthrew a little bubble route early in the game, but after that he did a really good job, and just a little bit of the passing presence will get the defense off of it'll slow them down from coming so much, and I thought they did a really good job. And A.K. Burrell had a huge game-turning point right before half. They got the ball on like the -14 with about 2 minutes left in the first half, and he breaks off a -4.
Mm-hmm.
They break it off to about a 50-yard run in, and then a 34-yard touchdown run right after that to put them up 28-0. It was all Dutchtown.
So the tight end you speak of is Dylan DeShere. He's like 6'4", 220, 230. Probably doesn't get enough credit because he's always at the point of attack. Does a really good job. He can slip up. He's a big fella, so it's hard for him to slip up the middle of the field, but he was able to do that tonight. And but that whole offensive line is what makes that offense go. And you're right. When you can complete a pass or two, you're going to keep that defense off guard, and they had nobody in the middle of the field. Everybody they had was in the box trying to stop the run. And on the first several series, it was tough for Dutchtown to maneuver through, and they were able to do that afterwards. But let's real quick. Mm-hmm. What'd you eat before here? What?
So we have a true treat tonight. It's playoff time, so your competition, your level of play has to get better. So we stepped it up in regards to the pregame meal before the show, and that comes to us via the Shed. The Shed, of course, if you're familiar with going to the beach for years, that was the only place you could go and get the barbecue from the Shed. Now it's here in Baton Rouge, right down the road from campus, very close here to the radio station. And when I tell you it's a treat, from the brisket to the ribs to the sausage, the potato salad, everything is on point at the Shed.
Let me tell you, and they're opening tomorrow at 9:30, and they're serving breakfast till about 11ish. They've got pancakes, bacon, smoked cheese, brisket, scramble bowl. How about that?
That's a winner right
here you
there.
go, Cade. Bottomless mimosas, Shetty Mary's, 20-foot screen to watch the LSU game, 15-foot screen plus 18 televisions. We appreciate Ches, Chris, and everybody over at the Shed for hooking us up. Delicious food. It was awesome.
It was as good a barbecue as I've eaten in the Baton Rouge area.
And that's not including his own, though.
It might have been a little better than mine. I'm gonna go ahead and concede that one.
Yeah, there's some other sides I want to go back and try, but man, it is fantastic. And the great thing about the Shed is when you go over there, plenty of room, big open dining space. You can take the family, take the friends. We appreciate their partnership with us here as we're into the postseason. So lots to get to tonight. We'll be speaking with some Victoria's head coaches, and we'll certainly have an update on probably by next hour. We'll give you an idea of not only who's made it to the next round, who's hosting those playoff games, and what to look forward to. But let's get caught up first on what we have currently here in our scores, and we'll start first going down the select brackets with Division I.
The Division I Select Playoff Bracket, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Acadiana defeats Riverdale 70-0. St. Paul over Holy Cross 24-21. Brother Martin 45, Woodlawn 20. Jesuit 45, Huntington 9. Alexandria shuts out McKinley 42-0. Scotlandville shuts out East Jefferson 43-0. And Archbishop Rommel 31, John Ehret 24.
The Division II Select Playoff Bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine.
Helen Cox over St. Michael 24-21. St. Louis Catholic shuts out Northside 23-0. Archbishop Hannon 34, Kenner Discovery 20. Evangel 60, Astruma 0. George Washington Carver 15, Booker T. Washington 8.
The Division III Select Playoff Bracket, served by walk-ons.
Sophie B. Wright 28, D'Arbonne Woods Charter 21. Metairie Park Country Day 34, Green Oaks 12. North Lake Christian 40, Houma Christian 7. Martin Luther King Charter 47, Thomas Jefferson 0. Lake Charles College Prep 26, Catholic New Iberia 7. Loyola Prep 61, St. Thomas Aquinas 14. Parkview Baptist shuts out Holy Savior Menard 31-0. And Ascension Episcopal 43, Patrick Taylor 0.
The Division IV Select Playoff Bracket, insured by State Farm.
Cedar Creek 30, Slaughter Charter Community 0. Southern Lab 53, River Oaks 7. Hanson Memorial 48, Delta Charter 46. Delahide Charter 40, St. John 0. Catholic Point Capee 50, Central Private 6. Ascension Catholic 49, Lincoln Prep 6. And Opelousas Catholic 34, St. Edmund 20.
The Division I Non-Select Playoff Bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine.
Denham Springs a 39-6 winner over Covington. Benton over Ponchatoula 41-7. Zachary defeats Sandoval 42-7. West Monroe over Chalmette 45-6. North Shore 21, Salmon 14. Dutchtown over Parkway 42-6 or 42-8. East St. John 29, Walker 28. Slidell 55, Hammond 22. Westgate 35, Bell Chase 14. And East Ascension 37, West Ouachita 0.
The Division II Non-Select Playoff Bracket, served by walk-ons.
Abbeville upsets Bruley 36-14. Breaux Bridge 21, Carroll 17. Lakeshore 27-8 winner over Albany. St. Martinville 28-7 winner over DeRidder. And Lutcher 42, Wassman 12.
The Division III non-select playoff bracket.
Pumped by peak performance.
Westlake 26-24 winner over Pine. Lauraville 50, Vidalia 7. Sterlington over Baker 37-0. Amite shuts out Rayville 54-0. And Berwick over Jewel Sumner 38-26.
The Division IV non-select playoff bracket, insured by State Farm.
General Trask 56, East Beauregard 46. Welsh a 44-8 winner over Varnado. Haynesville a 44-6 winner over East Iberville. Grand Lake 41, LaSalle 20. Arcadia 26, Lake Arthur 0. White Castle 44-21 winner over Delcom. Logansport 36, Jonesboro Hodge 6. East Feliciana shuts out Elton 48-0. And Delhi 34, Generette 6.
Thank you, Skip, and everyone behind the scenes. Ryan Kennedy producing our audio tonight. Taylor Sharp on the video board, and Skip Cottrell gathering scores. And if you are looking for any information, you have any questions for us tonight, you can drop them inside the live chat on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel or on Twitter at Louisiana Prep is the ways to communicate with us tonight. Kate Wozniak, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy here, as we mentioned, the Round 1 playoff edition of the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. When we get back, a team that has a bye and is awaiting their second round matchup. It is head coach Bryce Brown from Edna Carr, and he will join us when we return here on the Round 1 playoff edition of the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and your view.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, Know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste.
Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Coming up, another look at our full scoreboard from the divisions of select and non-select. All brackets are going to cover them all tonight and let you know by hour 2 who is traveling where in the regional or round 2. And a team that got the first round bye on the Division I select side is a team that's been dominating teams all year. That is the 7th seed Etnacar Cougars, and they await a second round matchup on that Division I select side against number 10 Scotlandville. Their head coach Bryce Brown joining us here on the Cardinal Financial Hotline. Coach, congratulations on that first round bye. I know there's been no shortage of work to do, even though there's no ball game tonight, and you guys are getting ready for your opponent next week.
Oh, yeah. Number one, thanks for having me. And, yep, I think that's the key. This week of preparation, getting ready for either Scotlandville or East Jeff, now it paints a clear picture that we'll be playing Scotlandville next week. So we'll get back to work on probably Sunday because we're off today and tomorrow. So we'll get back and look at the first game we play Scotlandville and see how they progress throughout the season.
Coach, I've gotten the president on this show twice, and I forget somebody else before I could get you on here.
Which one had to call him, Jabbar, Jaluk, or Valdez?
Coach Jabbar, do me a favor. Coach, talk a little bit about your season. And, you guys had some adversity early, and but you've got to be proud of your guys. I mean, they stood up to it, and they looked it square in the face, and they played the rest of those 7 games as solid as I'm sure you weren't happy with all of them, but people on the outside looking in looked like they were very dominant.
Yeah, and that's a tribute to, number one, the coaches and the players, buying into the plan each and every week. We do have vast playbooks on the offense and defensive side. I think that was, key, keeping the teams in the league off balance, but it's really a tribute to the kids just buying into the plan each and every week, and with the adversity, with the forfeits early on, and it didn't surprise me how they came out and executed for those last games.
Coach Brown, I know you might not want to answer this, but I need to ask it. How's A.J. Samuel doing? I know he got a little nicked up last week, and you went over John Curtis. What's his status?
Yeah, he should be ready to go against Scotland there. Got a little nicked up, a little shoulder jam, but, all x-rays were negative, and he should be good to go next week.
Coach, I got a question for you. Do you think you've played a complete game the way you would like to see as of the 10 weeks of the season so far?
If you look at the first half against Curtis, that probably was as close to perfection you could get in football, especially, holding Curtis to 17 yards in the first half and scoring on 4 to 5 drives in the first half. That was pretty close to how clean of a game we wanted. In the second half, we played pretty good, too. We fumbled on the 1-yard line, when Vasquez got that quarterback. But, it's never as good as you think, and it's never as bad as you think. The whole cliche with coaching is always something that you keep coaching up, and that's what the guys are doing. And it's really a tribute to the staff because the staff does a great job because they're their own head coach in their own position room, and they're doing a great job with that.
Coach, a lot of people say Carr has all the talent. They're just that good. You talk to coaches, which you have good players. You talk to coaches like Eric Held, who was a special teams coach and running back coach at Cadillac High, and he'll tell you not only do they have talent, they're very well coached. And I think your coaching staff and yourself does not get enough credit for the job you do. But overall, let's take that away. Your mission down there at Carr is much bigger than football. Talk about what your main goal is at Carr.
You know, our main goal at Carr is whatever sport you play or whatever organization that you with in the school is to provide an opportunity and a pathway to excel, number one, if it's through your athletic basis or through academics. And I think that's our main focus is to provide an opportunity. And the opportunity is the least we could do to give these kids a chance to get out of a circumstance that they're currently in. And I think, you know, for each school, that if it's public or private, I think that should be the main goal, not just win a state championships, but provide these young men and women with opportunities to excel both athletically and academically.
Tell us a little bit about your team. I know A.J. Samuel obviously gets a lot of credit, and he's had an incredible year throwing over 20 touchdowns against only 3 interceptions. But DeAndre Jackson's had a solid year. Running back Christopher Vasquez, and then you got big Jonathan Backs over there on the defensive line. He's a TCU commit. Is his commitment solid there, or is
Jimmy? You left out the most important part, the offensive line, right, Coach Brown?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think you know the offense gets a lot of the headlines because of the style we play, and it's so quick strike. But the defense has really been playing lights out, especially in district play. But you know, offensively, it starts off with the running game. You know, being able to have 3 running backs plus, you know, AJ in the backfield to execute any type of game plan that we want. You know, the offensive line giving him the protection. You know, where we don't turn the ball over is often as we have in the past. But we've been really efficient offensively and really changing the game plan each week. Sometimes we might run it 20 times, 25 times a game, and other times we may pass it about 30 times a game. And I think that's keeps teams off balance because you don't know who you're going to target. And having a player like Jonathan Backs on defense isn't bad at all. You know, he came to us thinking he was a basketball player. Now he's one of the best defensive players in the state of Louisiana.
How tall is he?
Jonathan's probably about 6'3".
He better be able to shoot it if he's 6'3" in basketball, right?
Yeah, I think he figured out that he wasn't going to play point guard.
Coach, the last question. You said something a minute ago about your coaches, and you said that they're each their own head coach with the individual positions. I think coming from a coach, I think that's important because you got to have those guys with autonomy, or else it's just like they're a robot, but they want to have their own input to each position. That's something you've always done, it seems like, and it seems to be working.
You know, I'm just following how it was taught with Coach Luke. You know, I was the offensive coordinator under Coach Luke for 8 years, and he gave me free reign, and we never thought it, you know, Carr would be as big as it is now. We knew it was going to grow, but the way it's grown now is just unbelievable, and that's really a tribute to the coaches and how they listen to the message. And I know they can't wait till Sunday where they sit in staff meeting for a couple of hours and after hear me give their grades on everything, but how they translate that message to their position in their individual room has really been the plus with this staff. You know, being together for 14 years now, you know, our continuity has been pretty good.
You know, we got to give a shout-out to Coach Luke. Man, he's done really good. He's over there at Florida as a running backs coach, I think an assistant, maybe head coach, and I know you got to be proud of him.
Oh, yeah, Coach is good. He just it was hard going against him for that LSU game, but We love our Tigers. We can't pick the Gators over the Tigers on that Saturday.
That's right. Hey, when he comes up, just tell him to go down the road. You sending your guys to LSU. That's right.
Coach, we really appreciate your time tonight, man, and we know you have a free Friday, and to spend it with us, we really appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Coach.
There you go, head coach Bryce Brown from Edna Carr. So looking at the Division I select bracket with them moving on to take on Scotlandville. That is a rematch from earlier in the season, as he mentioned. And right next to that matchup on that part of the bracket, it's Rummel taking on Catholic High. We've seen these two teams play in the postseason. Catholic had the bye this week, so they will be hosting Rummel.
There's one game in the Division I select we're waiting on. Everything else is filled out.
Tioga?
It's Tioga and Captain Shreve playing up in the Alexandria area. And at 9 o'clock, that game hadn't even started. They had a lot of weather affect a lot of games.
Look, and we'll repeat again from what Eric said last week. If your team had a bye this week, or if you're playing a team that had a bye this week, because there were some upsets, normally you would get a home game, but if the team you're playing had a bye, you're going to travel to that team. And I posted that on my Facebook page, well, the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, and you'd have thought I made the damn rule. I mean, it was like, what do you mean? It's like, man.
If you earn the bye, you should get the home game, right? I mean, it seems like it makes sense.
Right, and that's the only way you can really do it when you're including buys.
Well, before we go to break, we've got to say Westside beat Dutchtown, Michigan, 76-17. They'll play Eastside next week.
Yeah, they were playing the winner between Eastside and Westside, from what I heard on the sidelines tonight. So
interesting.
Woodlawn of Baton Rouge falls to Brother Martin tonight, 45-20. That was a game that went back and forth. Woodlawn seemed to have control early, but
that's a hard one to figure out. Woodlawn jumped on Brother Martin. Brother Martin's been struggling to score lately, and they jumped up 20-0. I think it was all in the first quarter, and then Brother Martin comes back and puts up, I think, 45 unanswered to win it 45. Yeah, 45-20.
You know, Skip, when we were on the sideline, he had mentioned that somebody went out of the game for Woodlawn when it was 20-0, and I'm not real sure who that was, but I don't know if they're 45 points important, but you know,
big swing.
Big swing.
Way. We'll continue to keep you updated. We'll get another full scoreboard when we get back. This is the playoff round 1 edition of the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and your view.
Don't have time for cold or flu?
I don't have time for the cold or the flu.
We're here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. When you don't have time to be sick, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours. Do you think you have COVID-19?
I'm worried I may have COVID.
We're open 7 days a week for both rapid COVID and antibody testing. Life is busy. You don't have time. Get your results fast at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com.
Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. The Division I Select Playoff Bracket, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Captain Shreven Tioga still in progress. Acadiana 70, Riverdale 0. St. Paul 24, Holy Cross 21, and Brother Martin 45, Woodlawn 20. Jesuit 45, Huntington 9, and Alexandria 42, McKinley 0. Scotlandville 43, East Jefferson 8, and Rummel over John Ehret 31-24.
The Division II Select Playoff Bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine.
Helen Cox 24, St. Michael 21, St. Louis 23, Northside 0, Archbishop Hannon 34, Kenner Discovery 20, Evangel 60, Struma 0. Vanderbilt Catholic was a forfeit over LB Landry. Livingston and F.A. Douglas will play on Saturday. George Washington Carver 15, Booker T. Washington 8.
The Division III Select Playoff Bracket, served by walk-ons.
Sophie B. Wright 28, Yarborough Woods Charter 21, Country Day 34, Green Oaks 12, North Lake Christian 40, Houma Christian 7, Martin Luther King 47, Thomas Jefferson 0, Lake Charles College Prep 26, Catholic New Iberia 7, Loyola Prep 61, St. Thomas Aquinas 14, Parkview blanks Menard 31-0, Ascension Episcopal 43, Patrick Taylor 0.
The Division IV Select Playoff Bracket, insured by State Farm.
Cedar Creek shuts out Slaughter 30-0, Southern Lab 66, River Oaks 7, Hanson Memorial 48, Delta Charter 46, Delhi Charter 40, St. John 0, Sacred Heart Covenant Christian still in progress, Catholic Point Fee 50, Central Private 6, Ascension Catholic 49, Lincoln Prep 6, Opelousas Catholic over St. Edmund 54-20.
The Division I Non-Select Playoff Bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine.
Ouachita 35, Hahnville 21, Denham Springs 39, Covington 6, Benton over Ponchatoula 41-7, Zachary over Sandoval 42-7, West Monroe defeats Chalmette 45-6, North Shore over Solomon 21-14, Dutchtown over Parkway 42-8, East St. John squeaks by Walker 29-28. And Houghton 36. Airline 26. Slidell a 55-22 win over Hammond. Westgate 35. Bell Chase 14. And East Ascension shuts out West Washita 37-0.
The Division II non-select playoff bracket, served by walk-ons.
Abbeville over Bruley 36-14. Leesville over Pearl River 42-14. Jennings a 28-25 winner over Plaquemine. Roe Bridge with the upset over Carroll 21-17. Iota defeats Northwest 28-0. Cecilia over Franklinton 35-28. Lakeshore over Albany 27-8. St. Martinville over DeRitter 28-7. Lutcher over Wassman 42-12. Church Point over Rain 62-43. North Vermilion 35. Franklin Parish 28. And Erath over Eunice 34-30.
The Division III non-select playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Weather delaying a lot of these games, but Westlake over Pine 26-24. St. Helena over South Plaquemine 29-20. Lauraville over Vidalia 50-0. Sterlington blanks Baker 37-0. Patterson over Port Allen 44-28. Winfield over Mamou 27-0. Amite blanks Rayville 54-0. Berwick over Jewel Sumner 38-26.
The Division IV non-select playoff bracket, insured by State Farm.
General Travis over East Beauregard 56-46. Welsh over Varnado 44-8. Oak Grove over Centerville 52-8. Haynesville over East Iberville 44-6. Grand Lake over LaSalle 41-20. Arcadia 26. Lake Arthur 0. White Castle 44. Delcombe 21. Logan Sport over Jonesboro Hodge 36-6. East Feliciana 48. Elton 0. Delhi 34. Jeanerette 6.
Thank you, Skip, getting our scores read to us tonight in all the 4 non-select and all 4 select brackets. 8 brackets total. Lots of games being played tonight and lots of teams being affected by weather that's coming into the Baton Rouge area and down into the New Orleans and Bayou regions sometime overnight tonight and into the weekend, bringing us some cooler temperatures. So North Louisiana being affected first, and we're seeing some delays in some of those scores getting reported, and we'll hopefully have those a little bit later on.
So Brian Holland is reporting that it's snowing at Razorback Stadium.
Wow.
And Todd just showed me a footage of a game in Oklahoma where the field looked like Green Bay or something up there, just completely covered in snow. It was,
that's crazy.
So going through some of these scores, and I wanted to go back. We were sorry, I didn't know if we had someone.
We have Coach Mistretta on.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and jump on the Cardinal Financial Hotline and speak with a victorious head coach, Guy Mistretta. Dutchtown getting the win in round 1 of the Division I playoffs on the non-select side. And they get the win over Parkway tonight.
Barbecue's getting to you, boy.
A little bit. Coach Mistretta, we appreciate your time tonight here on the Scoreboard Show. Congratulations on that win. A fantastic first half for you guys for what we were able to see, and it seemed like it continued into that second half.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us, and thanks for coming on out tonight.
Guys, was this your most complete game of the year?
First half, well, second quarter, certainly. You know, we started out a little slow, but we really felt going in that the best advantage we had was our offensive line against their defensive line. Felt like we had a size advantage and a physicality advantage. So tried to kind of force things there in the first quarter when, you know, they're loading the box. So Pearson did a great job, you know, with the pass to Sherry to kind of open things up. And once they backed off a little bit, you know, between AK and Gary Dukes, they they really made them pay for it.
I thought the pass also on your, I think it was your third drive, if I'm not mistaken, he hit another pass over the middle, headed away from the scoreboard. And
so I was going to ask you about him, Coach. Logan Mayu.
Bayou, yeah, that's right.
He has come. He's been big on your last two games for such a little guy, but he plays with a big heart.
Absolutely, man. We love him. He was actually out injured for most of the season. He came back a few weeks ago, and the last 2 weeks, boy, he picked up some really big plays for us.
Coach, we're talking a lot about your offense and some of the things they did. I thought we talked earlier in the show about Pearson Perrant. It was very effective. He overthrew his first one on a little bubble screen, then he hit the two big passes. He started 3 or 4, and like we said earlier, that did back him off. But I thought the story of the first half really was your defense also. You gave up 1 first down on each of the first 2 possessions, if I'm not mistaken, and then you went about 3 or 4 possessions in a row where it was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And then you gave up a couple of cheap first downs right before the half that didn't really have any effect on it. So defense was lights out in the first half also. Against a team that had some talent at quarterback, they had a running back who has a Mississippi State offer, who actually, I was told tonight, had beat Dylan Sampson, your running back, last year a couple times in some track meets. The Trenton Lake kid was a really good receiver for them that's committed to LSU baseball. So your defense played really well against a really good offense.
They played really disciplined, and that's what we're most proud of. That's what we preached all week. They were going to have to really have some eye discipline. Parkway, we had 4 films on them, and each film they had a different little wrinkle that they would hang their hat on. So you had no idea what to expect. They usually hit the perimeters. We made an adjustment, put AK down opposite Carter Hanbury. So we felt like we were good, setting the edges with those 2 guys. But you never know what you're going to see. So we preached eye discipline all week, and really, really pleased with that effort.
Carter Hanbury is another one, Coach, that has really played big, played disciplined for you. I mean, there's teams that still try to get outside of him, and he just ain't going to let them. I mean, it's just crazy that people continue to try to do that. He's been injured, but he came back tonight. And that was a
number
big
22.
Lift. Yep, that's a big lift for your defense.
I'm going to tell you, man, he's outstanding. 4 weeks ago, we're playing, I think it was 4 weeks ago. It's all running into each other now. Sanamaw, the first play of the game, he breaks his thumb, plays the whole game. Nobody knows. He shows up on Sunday with a big old swollen thumb, right? So he was able to play that week against Denham Springs with a club on his hand. He intercepts a pass and runs back for a touchdown first quarter with a club, So he had to sit out the EA game, had surgery, put a couple screws in there, but he was able to club it up and play again today. And just outstanding, man. Just a tough, hard-nosed kid, man. He's what you just love as a defensive player in high school football.
You know what Jimmy will love about him is he can hit a baseball, too.
Yeah, he's really good at baseball.
Well, Coach, look, we're doing something a little different this week that we haven't done before, but our State Farm student-athlete brought to you by Drew Dillio, Brian Moe, Byron Gill, and Mitch Mueller. We usually do 1. This week we're doing 4 and talking with you. You have 4 kids that are committed to sign at a major school. Ethan, I'm going to go through the list here. Offensive tackle Ethan Fields with a 4.0 committed to Purdue. Quarterback Pearson Perrant is committed as a deep snapper to Tulane with a 4.1 GPA. A.K. Burrell, defensive back, running back, who I think is maybe your best running back, but he's too valuable to move there all the time, with a 4.2 GPA. He's committed to Furman. And Dixon Agu, a 4.4 GPA, committed to Tulane. So you got 4 guys that are committed to colleges with a 4.0 or higher. And one of the things that you said to me when I was talking to you yesterday, when your best players are your best students and your hardest workers, it makes it easy. Talk about those kids.
Yeah, just outstanding, man. And I'm going to tell you, on top of that, Jimmy, that we let the kids select captains, and they're permanent captains for the season. Those were the 4 guys the rest of the team chose. Just when those are your leaders, and they're the as committed as anybody on the team, academically, athletically, the whole bit. They're your hardest workers. I mean, it's been a joy to coach this team. It really is. But it's because of this senior class. You know, we started the year really, obviously lost our first 2 games, and any other team, would have hang their heads, point fingers, all that nonsense that we have to deal with. But this senior class didn't allow it, and it's a tribute to the character and the leadership, these 4 in particular, but the class as a whole is really impressive as well.
And just to add to that, I know Guy kind of touched on it, but he's their coach. Outside looking in, there's quality of young men, just as citizens, as students, as you can find. And it's just, they're just great kids along with great athletes and a lot smarter than I ever was.
And I also want to mention Wayne McKinney. He also is another college commitment with a 3.0. So they're getting it done there, both sides. I know A.K. Burrell's dad, Montrell, worked with him for years. Didn't realize that was his son until Todd brought it up a few weeks ago. And he gets it honestly because Montrell's a great guy also. So, Matt, go ahead.
All those guys, I mean, the home life is fantastic with all of them. And, and not only with them, but they're a part of the program, All of those families are involved. They're always there, and they support not only their kids, which that's another thing that we all know. It's easy for a parent to have tunnel vision. These families, they're there for the whole group.
Well, Guy, congratulations on this one, and thank you for taking up a little bit of your time. And it was great to see old Heavy out there and talk about the SS Minnow at his camp and some good reminiscing about some good old days at the Rock over there.
Curtis out there with him, but he's a coach.
I know, that's great. And Justin Kelly.
Y'all made me nervous earlier. I heard that Dutchtown lost.
They did.
Yeah, that was that team out of Ann Arbor.
That's right. That's exactly right. It got blew out.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Coach. Enjoy it, man.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Let me add something to Perron as he's involved also with his church. He's an usher with the youth group. He mentors other specialists around the country. Now, he's a deep snapper. So the funny thing is there's kickers and punters and snappers. They send him their footballs to condition. So he's come, his father says he has become very good at making a new ball old. Somebody online charges like $80 to do that. So maybe he ought to look into that.
They use like the shaving cream or something like that. And
it's a secret potion. If I tell you, then that means.
Yeah, then the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
One score we've been missing, Richwood just went final with a 12-8 win over Caldwell. That's in Division III non-select.
I guess if Voiles is still going, that's who we were going to try to have next. But I think their game is probably delayed, so we might have to get Coach Boone. I don't even know the score if they're winning. So
I have not seen anything on that one.
Let's see if I can find that for you, Coach. Last I had
Skip
was
did text me a update on Captain Shreve. Captain Shreve was beating Tioga 24-14 at the half.
Now, yeah, I think then this may be close to accurate because some of those games, or just at half, or just getting in the second half of Voiles was up over Lakeside 38-0 at half.
What time was that?
Don't have the time.
All right, I'll let you slide.
Fair enough. We'll take a timeout, and we'll be right back here on this playoff round one edition of the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and your view.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com.
Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the playoff round 1 edition of the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. How about a salute to all the veterans listening out there? Happy Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to anyone who is served the country in whatever branch. I'm just going to put that out there. I think those people are excellent, cut above, and we appreciate everyone tuning in tonight, especially our veterans. Looking at Division II select for next week and results of tonight. You know, St. Louis was a team that we thought pretty highly of from the Lake Charles area. They get Madison Prep in an 8 versus 9 matchup next week. And St. Thomas More gets Helen Cox. You know, I think that top half of the bracket will be a little more interesting when you get into the quarterfinals, but interesting with Madison Prep and St. Louis there.
That should be a good one. And then also you can look at Edie White and Evangel. Edie White obviously will be a heavy favorite, but Evangel has improved tremendously from where they were last year with Dennis Duran back up there as the head coach, and they've done a really good job.
Well, John F. Kennedy, I know they got a bye this week, but they're going to host Hannon. They've really done a good job this year, and last year they did too. They're building a good, solid program.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they can maybe easily get overlooked, but there's a reason they're sitting in the position they're in the postseason, and I don't think they should I mean, for the teams that are playing them are not going to look past it, but I think you see that on a bracket and you think, okay, well, that's another one of those schools, seen it before, but last year, I think if you paid attention, you saw them climb, and now in the position they're in right now, play a lot better.
Speaking of look past, and I just thought of this, is these helmets are compliments of Hunter Bauer at Go Preps. I mean, they're sharp. What really made me think of it, I looked at Kenner Discovery's helmet. I'm like, good God. I mean, that's crazy. But anyway, thanks to Go Preps and Hunter Bauer for helping us out there. As man, I think the helmets look sharp.
They are the Owls.
Are they? Who?
Kenner Discovery.
Interesting as something that happened before tonight. Landry had to forfeit ineligible player, not only this game in round one, but regular season wins as well. So Vanderbilt Catholic advances, take on De La Salle. For those that hadn't heard about that situation, considering that part of the bracket. And we'll talk more about what's coming up on the select and non-select sides. We'll give you another full scoreboard. And then in the next hour, we'll set the scene for who is traveling where, who is home in the regional round or round two, as we continue on this round one edition of the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. Our cast of thousands is here tonight, a full house, another hour to go, all right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, in your view.
Don't have time for cold or flu?
I don't have time for the cold or the flu.
We're here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. When you don't have time to be sick, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours. Do you think you have COVID-19?
I'm worried I may have COVID.
We're open 7 days a week for both rapid COVID and antibody testing. Life is busy. You don't have time. Get your results fast at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
The Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. From the Jamborees to the Superdome, your source for the most up-to-date scores and stats is right here. Now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, and Cade Wazan.
Good evening and welcome to the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, getting scores from all 8 brackets tonight as we start our journey to the Superdome on the select and non-select side. We'll be speaking with some coaches here this hour and going a little deeper dive into some of these brackets and the results from teams in the Baton Rouge area and around the state. Let's get you caught up on what we know as of now. Still a couple of scores outstanding. Some bad weather coming in from the northern half of the state that's delayed the start of some of those games. Some of them just going final or into the late second half portions of their contest. But let's get you caught up on everything so far and what we can look forward to for round 2. And we'll start first on the non-select
The
side.
Division I Select Playoff Bracket, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
And will travel to Karen Crow. Northwood Shreveport will host St. Paul. No. Yes, St. Paul. I wrote that wrong. Brother Martin will travel to St. Aug. Jesuit will travel to John Curtis down the street. C.E. Bird will host Alexandria. Edna Carr will host Scotlandville. And Rummel will travel to Baton Rouge to play Catholic. You have one.
The Division II Select Playoff Bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine.
Helen Cox will travel to St. Thomas More. St. Louis Catholic will travel to Baton Rouge to play Madison Prep. John F. Kennedy will host Archbishop Hannon. Evangel will travel to E.D. White. De La Salle will host Vanderbilt Catholic. McDonough 35 will travel to Lafayette Christian. And Carver will travel to Turlings Catholic.
The Division III Select Playoff Bracket, served by walk-ons.
Sophie B. Wright will travel to Isidore Newman. Country Day will travel to Baton Rouge to play University Lab. North Lake Christian will travel up north to play Calvary Baptist. Martin Luther King Charter will come to Baton Rouge to play Dunham. Lake Charles College Prep over to Notre Dame. Loyola Prep will travel to Baton Rouge to play Episcopal. Parkview will travel up north to play North Caddo. And Ascension Episcopal will travel to LaPlace to play St. Charles.
The Division IV Select Playoff Bracket, insured by State Farm.
Cedar Creek will travel to Vermilion Catholic. Southern Lab will travel to St. Frederick. Hanson Memorial will travel to St. Mary. St. Martin Episcopal will host Delhi Charter. Catholic Point Capee will travel to Glenbrook. Ascension Catholic will travel to Riverside. And Opelousas Catholic will travel to Central Catholic.
The Division II Non-Select Playoff Bracket, served by walk-ons.
Ouachita Parish will travel over to Ruston. Denham Springs will travel to Benton. Zachary will host West Monroe. North Shore will travel to Southside. Dutchtown will travel to Destrehan. East St. John will travel to Houghton. Westgate will travel to Slidell. And East Ascension will go up north to play Neville.
That was your Division I non-select playoff bracket.
The Division II non-select playoff bracket, served by walk-ons.
Abbeville will travel to Iowa. Jennings will host Leesville. Breaux Bridge will host Iota. North DeSoto will host Cecilia. Opelousas will host Lakeshore. Lutcher will host St. Martinville. Church Point will travel to North Vermilion. And Erath will travel to West Feliciana.
The Division III non-select playoff bracket,
Pumped by Peak Performance.
Richwood will travel over to Manning. Rose Pine will host Westlake. Laurelville will travel to St. James. Union Parish will host Sterlington. Winfield will host Patterson. Berwick will travel to Bogalusa.
The Division IV non-select playoff bracket, insured by State Farm.
General Trials will come down south to Kentwood. Welsh will travel to Oak Grove. Grand Lake will travel to Mangum. Arcadia will travel to White Castle. Logansport will host East Feliciana. And Delhi will travel to Homer.
One quick correction. Westlake will host Rose Pine, not travel. Westlake upset Pine 26-24 tonight.
How many calls is the LHSA office going to get this week about Zachary not being able to team up against West Monroe with the officials this coming up week?
And Lee Sanders needs to send the same group back over there from last year.
Yeah, we were talking about that
That's
on the
gonna
way
be
back.
interesting.
Yeah, interesting how that played out.
Couple, okay, let's talk real quick. A few of bigger upsets tonight. If you look at it, especially on the you saw most of it on the non-select side. Houghton beating Airline 36-26. Airline had come in winning 7 straight. Started the year 0-3, won 7 straight, including in a high-scoring affair up there with Houghton. But Houghton gets revenge tonight. You look over in Division II. Number 25, Jennings, Rusty Phelps, last year there, coming in at 3-7. They didn't want the season in. They go to Plaquemine, beat a 9-1 Plaquemine team 28-25. Breaux Bridge sitting at number 28, upsets number 5 Carroll 21-17. That was on the road. Of course, Brandon Landers was suspended for 8 other staff members or 7 other staff members. So they had an interim coach there. That's a major upset. At that one, we just mentioned Westlake, and that's the biggest ones that I've seen so far.
Looking ahead to matchups in round 2, U-High, Country Day, Ascension Catholic, and Riverside. Which of those two you think is the most competitive?
That's Division III select.
Mm-hmm.
U-High should win that one easy. I think the one Parkview going to North Caddo is going to be a good one. I think Lake Charles College Prep, Notre Dame should be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Division IV, I think there was a really good game. Opelousas Catholic and Central Catholic. Opelousas Catholic was a 15 seed, but I think they're better than that. They've played a really good schedule. Right next to those is Ascension Catholic going to Riverside Academy. That's going to be a good one. Glenn Brooks, undefeated with the state's longest winning streak, is going to probably see an offense like they haven't seen before in Catholic High Point Capee. That's a good one. There's a bunch of them on that side. Southern Lab, St. Fred. I think Southern Lab obviously would have to be the big favorite in it.
It's the one thing I talked about a little bit. 2 things. One of them was Carroll. When a team loses their head coach, how are they going to respond under adversity?
Right.
And obviously they didn't respond very well. And then the other thing with Catholic Point Capee, Glenbrook hasn't, like you said, haven't seen that type of offense. And if they have struggles adjusting to it, Point Capee can be right in that ball game.
Absolutely. I agree. Another one to look at on the select side in Division One coming up next week is Acadiana and Karen Crow. We know how that one played out a couple weeks ago when Acadiana stopped the 2-point conversion with less than a minute left to win 21-20. That's going to be a really good one. Then you got a lot of rematches. You got Brother Martin, St. Aug. You're going to have John Curtis, Jesuit, Edna Carr, Scotlandville, even though they're not in the same district. They played each other early in the year. They played that one here. Scotlandville will have to go on the road for that one. Rummel and Catholic are very familiar with each other. We're still waiting on Captain Shreve, Warren Easton. Captain Shreve to Tioga score to see who advances to play Warren Easton.
And, you know, Carr's not going to be happy. They lost to Scotlandville the first time.
That's right, 2-0, got shut out.
Let me go back to the non-select side. I know towards the end of the season we were talking about that 5A district on the North Shore. We see Slidell advance over a fellow North Shore team in Hammond tonight, and they get Westgate next week. Interesting to see how Slidell did. I go back to the beginning of the season that was an overtime game with Jesuit and seeing how they've progressed. Westgate, a team from that Acadiana area that's been pretty strong, a team to be concerned about. How do you feel about the Slidell-Westgate matchup?
Westgate has always, Ryan Antoine does a good job, but they've always been good enough to beat anybody on any night, and then at times they've been bad enough to lose to anybody anytime, and they've shown that for years. Well, last year they were able to put it all together and win the state championship, but I think it's a good matchup. Slidell has had a really good year. They had an 8-game win streak after losing to Jesuit in overtime week 1, like I said, and then they lose to North Shore last week 16-6, where their offense was the one that really gave up the points last week. I think 2 of the touchdowns came from their defense, from North Shore's defense against them. So they got a good running back. They got one of the leading receivers in the state. They have a good quarterback. So they're balanced. I think that's going to be a really good game. Another game that really piques my interest, if we're going to talk a little bit about these other games right now, is East Ascension going to Neville. Right. I think that one's going to be a good one.
It's not a good matchup for Neville, I'll tell you right now.
You don't think it is?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Let me ask you this.
Well, okay, no. Go. I mean, you're familiar with Neville. I'm not. Why do you tell us why?
I just think that they're one of those teams that's big and bigger than Neville, and I think that they can kind of win the line of scrimmage. I really do. Okay. I just think from what I've seen, and
can Neville score on these Ascension?
They've been doing so well through the air lately that it's really been tough to stop them. But the thing with Neville is you always have to go back to, you talking about teams that are up and down. You know, they play Ruston, probably the best Ruston's been played this year.
Right.
And but they lost to Ruston, they lost to Ouachita early, and they're young. And so once you look at the youth, how does that stand?
And also remember, Neville's coming off of that 21-day without playing a game because they had an open date in week 10. Yeah. Then they get a bye, and then they're off this week. So that one is tough. I like what you think about Denham Springs Benton. Denham Springs gets a huge win tonight, 39-6 over Covington. Covington, they just could not score enough points late in the year. They lost their last 4 games of the year, and I think they scored 14 points in them. They've been struggling. Again, Denham Springs' defense is really good. They're going to go play a high-scoring Benton team. I like that one too.
Is their quarterback? Isn't that they're the ones that lost? He
did play. Gray Walters. He did play the last couple of weeks, and I talked with Coach Coy Brotherton from Parkway, and I said, well, Coach, they're coming in averaging almost 50 points a game. How did y'all slow them down last week? And he said they were able to run the football against them, and Benton only had 2 possessions in the first half.
Well, Denham can do that.
Yes, Denham can do that.
So going back to EA Neville, how much, being a different team, how much can Coach Lee go back to that early season trip up to that part of the state and say, okay, guys, there's probably proven that we're not intimidated by anybody, and we've made these uncomfortable trips. We got out of our routine. Isn't that part of why you play games like that, to make these trips? Yeah.
From an itinerary point of view, they will probably use the exact same thing that they did. If they used the stopping point, they'll probably use it again. If they drove straight through, they'll do that again.
Right.
So that part of it is going to be. But let me tell you something. I think that was week 3, if I'm not mistaken. East Ascension went to West Monroe, as the game Cade referred to, and won in overtime. The teams that played in week 3, they are not going to be the same teams that's playing in week 12. They're all going to be better. They're going to improve. They're going to learn a whole lot more about themselves. So, but yeah, in a way, it definitely helps them. But that win's not going to help them get this win.
I think the key for East Ascension is going to be can they throw it?
Correct. And they
Neville
can
put everybody up there. Will they hit it?
They can throw, and that's their whole thing. They live and die by the deep ball, by the big play. Can they dink them, dunk them? I don't know, because like you said, they'll put
and that's more
zero coverage.
That's more
and press.
Antoine throwing the football than
Jalen? I don't know how they'll play it with Jalen Lee or with Antoine. I don't know, but you'll see a lot of press coverage, zero coverage, that type of thing. But one thing about it, you can bet you Neville has seen film on East Ascension against West Monroe, and when East Ascension gets that win, it opens Neville's eyes really quick. So they know they're not getting a slouch team.
Well, and I think, when you have like you mentioned, week 3 to now, those kids don't know that. So as a coach, you're going to try to work that in your favor, saying, look, we went up, faced one of the toughest teams in the country, blah, 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 blah. They're not playing the same, but to your point.
You've got that in you. You can go up there and you can.
Yes.
And the environment, Todd can speak on it more than I can, but I would imagine the environments are going to be fairly close to the same. I know West
Neville's
Monroe
not
probably
as redneckish, but I mean, yeah, other than that.
Neville Stadium's not as big as West Monroe's, is it?
I know.
But the atmosphere, as far as sometimes a smaller stadium makes it feel like a bigger stadium because everybody's packed in there and it can get louder. So
let me on that note.
Yeah.
I was talking about this last week to somebody, and there are a lot of fans that are like this. But Neville's fans are spoiled. I mean, like, EA's coming in there, it needs to be rocking. And, like, you see schools in different areas, it's just not – I think the student bodies of all the schools we've been to this year have done a great job. Parents just need to step up the game. That's all I'm saying.
Look, at this time of year, I can imagine with the weather being the way it is, this is no peep stew season up there in Monroe. Get the cast iron pots out there. Let's make this a thing. We've seen some great atmospheres, but yeah, you would imagine this kind of game, this part of the season, almost Turkey Week. You would hope the people are packed.
There's a bunch of them going to the hunting camp up there, I can tell you. Hey, we're watching it last week. I don't even know if it was opened up there yet. But another one, Ruston, Washita, rematch that Ruston won easily in the first round. Washita's given up a lot of points. I think 5 games they've given up over 40 points this year. But they did get a big win over Hahnville. Zachary West Monroe, like we said, that one – that one's going to be interesting to say the least. North Shore, South Side.
I'm going to start on that tonight, by the way, with my Facebook.
Dutchtown has a tough draw. They're going to be on the road to Denham Springs. Again, Houghton, East St. John. That's a winnable game for Houghton. East St. John's going to have to make the trip from New Orleans up to Shreveport. That one, they're going to have a few good games next week.
And just last week, Destrehan throttled East St. John.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks
Correct,
ago.
yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder.
It was, heck, I think they scored on 3 of their first 4 plays they ran.
Schemed them up pretty good.
And Chapman Haffenden put up a good showing tonight, 29-28 loser to East St. John, but Walker had a good night. Just didn't pull it out.
And if I'm not mistaken, Walker, think about things moving forward, play that young quarterback late in the season, got a lot of great experience for him, and who knows what the future is for him and for that Walker offense. We'll take a timeout. We'll be right back with more here on this Round 1 playoff edition of the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, in your view.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party.
Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. Cade Wazan, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, Ryan Kennedy on the audio, and Taylor Sharp producing video. Skip Cottrell gathering scores. At Louisiana Prep is where you want to follow us on Twitter. Also, if you're getting everybody together for the game tomorrow or games this weekend,
let's talk about the game last weekend.
Yeah, that one was pretty good too. Jimmy
That's
Roy
why I don't bet.
Jimmy Roy
exactly why I don't bet.
And I wasn't extremely confident. But I can tell you what goes pretty good, or what would be a great idea, a great addition to your football watching parties or get-togethers this weekend, the Shed barbecue. Because I could have gone for another full quart myself of some of that potato salad. that we've had tonight.
Oh, I want some of that breakfast, that brisket breakfast stuff with some eggs.
Sounds like a plan. And that's tomorrow morning over there. They are offering a chance to get a little breakfast from the shed, not just for lunch tomorrow.
They're opening at 9:30. They've got a 20-foot screen, 15-foot screen, plus 18 other TVs. They've got a huge outdoor area. Maybe we're going to get some cold weather. It might be comfortable out there, but they're offering pancakes and bacon, smoked cheese, brisket, scrambled bowl, smoked cheese, brisket, scrambled bowl, bottomless mimosas, Shetty Marys. I got to be careful. That's a quick one.
Say it 10 times.
And we appreciate Chris and Ches, and I'm sure there's other owners, but we really appreciate them taking care of us. And go by. You won't be disappointed. I promise you that.
So looking on some of the other brackets tonight, and I wanted to focus right now on the Division II non-select side. Looking through and seeing that number 3 Opelousas, number 14 Lakeshore is a game that certainly stands out. We had a couple teams in the area participating. West Feliciana was on a bye, so they'll have a game next week. What stands out to you, Jimmy?
Well, I thought Cecilia beating Franklinton tonight. I thought that was a possible place to look. You know, you always go through and try to look where may an upset occur. That was one, but Coach Gaines and his guys came through with a good win tonight. Franklinton's improved a lot under Guy Lecomte. And you got to remember, they're using 2 kids at quarterback now because their starter went out early in the year. They're rotating a freshman in. Colin Dorr is playing most of it. They'll rotate in Jermone Davis a little bit, but he also plays wide receiver, so they're trying to play the freshman there. Like you say, I think next week going forward, Lakeshore Opelousas is going to be a good one, but I think the marquee matchup, and honestly,
before you get, let me say this real quick about Lakeshore Opelousas. We know that their defense is pretty young. We know what Lakeshore likes to run in that wing tee. It's going to require a ton of discipline because, you know, Coach Indest, is going to throw everything at them that he can. He's going to try to make them shift. He's going to try to outflank them. I think it's a tough matchup for Opelousas.
I do too, and it depends on how much they've seen it this year. Whether they have, I don't know. Lakeshore has gotten better and better, and they're making a more of a concentrated effort to throw it a little more out of the wing tee. And one of the things that Lakeshore has done, they've started 11 different offensive linemen this year due to injury. So how many of their starters are healthy for this part of the run, I don't know. But the marquee matchup that I think honestly could be, if they would have fell on opposite sides of the brackets, it could have been the state championship in this division, is St. Martinville and Lutcher. They're both as hot as they can be. St. Martinville has won 6 straight after a 1-4 start. They have, you know, with Stephen Blanco back there, the running back, he's going to be over 2,000 yards now. You have Harvey Broussard as a wide receiver. He's averaging over 26 yards a catch. They're hot. They played last year against against Lutcher. They beat Lutcher, I think it was like 50-something to 40-something last year, if I'm not mistaken. I may have it written down somewhere, but that one's going to be a high-scoring ball game.
Don't count out my man Lunch.
No, they're averaging 45.4 points a game. They scored over 40 and 7 times. Now, their schedule, again, has not been as strong, and I think that could come back to haunt them a little bit, but Lutcher's, 10-1 now on the year? But I honestly think that there's probably the 2 best teams in this division, in my opinion. Of course, Iowa #1. Iowa will have something to say about it. North DeSoto, undefeated going into week 10 before they lost. They're going to have something to say about it. But and of course, West Feliciana, the job Hudson Fuller's done up there. They're 10-0 going in with a bye week this week, and they'll host Erath. They all have something to say about it. Leesville with their running back Xavier Ford, he's really good, over 2,000 yards this year, so it's going to be interesting. But like I said, the ones to keep an eye on for me, I think, is Cecilia, North DeSoto, Opelousas, Lakeshore, and Lutcher, St. Martinville. Last year, Lutcher went to St. Martinville, this year St. Martinville will have to travel to Lutcher.
You know, Jimmy mentioned several 2,000-yard rushers in that span right there. If anybody happens to know what's the most 2,000-yard rushers Louisiana's had in one season, I would really like to know. Go to the YouTube site and post it in there.
I know there's 4 this year going into tonight.
Is that probably not counting Trey Holly, is it?
No.
Jalen Williams?
No.
Yeah, Jalen Williams is the first one.
Is that from Mangum?
Yeah.
And he did it in 9 games. So we can pull that up. That's on Go Preps.
I was going to say maybe Elijah Davis.
Elijah Davis is up there. I think there's 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken.
At Louisiana Prep on Twitter, or you can also comment on the YouTube live chat. That is the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. We appreciate our audience on Your View throughout the season as well. And the Your View game of the week, game time on Your View that precedes our show each and every week. This week it was a contest down in the New Orleans area tonight that kind of went back and forth.
Cade, when we get back, we're going to have a special treat, as we've tried to get Coach Andy Boone from Avoyles on before, and it'll be interesting to talk to him. He's done a lot with Avoyles, and he has an interesting theory on a lot of the stuff he does. So I look forward to talking with him.
We'll look forward to our conversation with Coach Boone when we get back here on this Round 1 playoff edition of the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Your View.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm.
Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome back to the playoff round one edition of the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show. Kate Wazan, Todd Black, and Jimmy Roy as we await our next guest on the show. And I believe we've got him, so we're going to jump on the Cardinal Financial Hotline and join a victorious head coach, Andy Boone, who comes to us from Avoyelles High School. Avoyelles gets the win. They are the 5th seed in the Division III non-select bracket. They get the win 34-6 over Lakeside tonight and advance to take on St. Helena in round 2. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it here on a great night. Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, I think you may have the wrong game. We won 60-0. I don't know what game you're looking at.
Sometimes, Coach, he drinks before he comes up here, and I think that's kind of the case of what happened. But
it might be pretty good.
Coach,
y'all need to give some. Y'all need to give some of that to the Lakeside coach.
Coach, did y'all get your game started on time? Did y'all or delayed?
We started on time, but about halfway through the first quarter, we had about an hour and a half delay. About an hour and a half. Yeah.
Coach, you have
It's complicated. Go ahead.
Coach, tell us about your system. You have a unique. I guess you're using a lot of analytics. You go for it on 4th down a lot. You don't punt. You onside kick a lot of times. You do a few different things that people may question. Well, why do you do it? Well, here's your opportunity to tell us why you do it.
Well, first of all, we don't punt ever. We haven't punted since 2010.
Okay.
So it's ever. We don't practice it. We don't have a punter. It doesn't matter the down and distance. It doesn't matter. We never go punt. I found out if you practice punting, you'll punt, no matter what you say. So we don't punt. We run a double tight, double wings. We got 4 plays to get 10 yards, and we're pretty good at it. We're over 80% on 4th down conversions this year. We go for 2 every time. We're at over 80% on 2-point conversions. We onside kick almost every time. We'll kick it deep if you put everybody up there. But we'll average about 1 onside kick a game, and that usually a close game that'll flip it right there, and it definitely takes up those deep practice time. It lets us compete against teams that beat us. Let's compete, and against when we have a good team like we have this year, we average 60 points.
Where did you come? I know there's people that have done it before, but what made you decide, you know what, I think this is going to work? Because it's kind of a bold move to make that, because the first time you come out there and you go for it on your own 2, somebody's going to say, this guy, he's drinking the same stuff Kate's drinking.
Yeah, I mean, we do. We've gone far and inside our 5 a bunch of times, It's not even a thought. It's just what we do. So it's not a gamble. It's nothing. I mean, it's just, hey, this is just what we do. It doesn't matter where we're at. So when you call plays like that, you rarely get in that situation. You have to have a penalty or something like that to get in this situation. But I've seen other teams doing it, but it definitely, we were at a school that was horrible at football. I got there in 2009. They had won one game in 4 years. And, football program didn't have any kids. They were about to shut it down. So it was really not it was nothing to do it because there was no expectation. The principal told me when I got the job, just have disciplined players. We don't care about the win or loss.
Oof.
Yeah, he told me that. So all the pressure I was putting on was on the pressure on me was from myself, not the administration or anything. And within my second year of doing this stuff, we went 9-1, and we've been in the playoffs. 11 last 12 years, 12 last 13 years, something like that.
So DeCarrion Simpson's having a big year for you, over 1,700 yards, 23 touchdowns going into tonight. And if I'm not mistaken, you had a really good running back last year, and he may be back this year, who I think suffered an ACL injury late in the year.
He had two of them.
He had Carlos Bazard.
That's it.
Had about 900 yards in the first 3 games last year, and he tore his ACL first quarter of the 4th game. So, he had 900 yards in 3 games. He had a 400-yard game last year against Carroll. So, and this year he has, after the night, he probably has 1,400 or 1,500 yards, already. We got another running back that has 1,500 yards. And DeCarrion Sampson, he may have hit 2,000 tonight. I don't know what he got. He had a lot tonight. And he had 4 or 5 touchdowns. So, all 3 of those guys that complement each other. We got Carlos is about 260, about 6'2", 260. So he's a big old boy running back. And he's a defensive end. He had 2 or 3 sacks tonight. Picked up a block punt, ran it for a touchdown. So he's one of our best players on the team.
How many guys do you have going both ways?
You should ask how many we don't have. I think we have 7, sometimes 8. We dressed 25 tonight. I think last week we went to Picker, we dressed 23.
Okay.
We don't have a lot of kids. They Iron Man football just like last year. We went up to Manny last year. Both games I think the last game we had 28 dressed out. They had 90.
Coach, and I'll be honest, when I saw Jess Curtis in the Superdome, I asked him because I knew you had a lot of injuries and. Like, man, how did he do it? And he just said, man, I'm telling you, he's tough to stop. And he gave you a lot of compliments. And I was really impressed at that particular point. And I can't remember that game. But anyway, it just seems like it keeps you in ball games, just like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it does. Especially like a team like Manny should wipe the floor with us. It really should. And we're able to take advantage of stuff that they do on defense. And, again, when you don't punt, we have the advantage. Think about the not punting. We have the advantage over everybody. Everybody else basically believes they have to punt in certain situations. If you think about it, every coach thinks, inside the 5 or 10 has to punt. We don't have to. We're not worried about that. We don't care what anybody thinks. We're just going to run our system, call plays for our system. So it gives us an advantage over everybody, especially teams like that are, got D1 athletes all over the place.
Coach, you get on the road next week, travel to St. Helena. Do you know anything about the Hawks?
Yeah, we actually beat them about 3 years ago in the first round. They're going to be big. They got speed. We're looking forward to it, man. We like playing on the road. We always have. I don't have to tank the field. I don't have to start the session. We just get on the bus, get off the bus. We like playing on the road. We're looking forward to it.
Well, Coach, thank you for joining us tonight. Congratulations on the win again. Vols a 60-0 winner over Lakeside, and will advance to play St. Helena at St. Helena next weekend. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Y'all welcome. Thank you.
Coach Boone joining us on the Cardinal Financial Hotline.
What score did you say?
The score that was on the sheet.
What was that?
34-6.
Oh.
Okay.
But apparently it was not good enough for Coach. He wanted his full credit. Fair enough. Appreciate it, Coach. Don't punt. All right, we'll take a timeout, and we'll be right back to wrap things up here on this Round 1 playoff edition of the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and your view.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
Don't have time for cold or flu?
I don't have time for the cold or the flu.
We're here to help with easy, convenient online check-in, virtual visits, or walk-in care. When you don't have time to be sick, feel better faster at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours. Do you think you have COVID-19?
I'm worried I may have COVID.
We're open 7 days a week for both rapid COVID and antibody testing. Life is busy. You don't have time. Get your results fast at Lake Urgent Care and Lake After Hours.
Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show, presented by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. The Division I Select Playoff Bracket, restored by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic.
Captain Shreve will travel to Warren Easton. Acadiana will travel to Carencro. St. Paul will travel to Northwood Shreveport. Brother Martin will travel to St. Aug. Jesuit will travel to John Curtis. Alexandria will travel to C.E. Bird. Scotlandville will travel to Edna Carr, and Catholic Baton Rouge will host Rummel.
The Division II Select Playoff Bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine.
St. Thomas More will host Helen Cox. Madison Prep will host St. Louis Catholic. Archbishop Hannah will travel to John F. Kennedy. Evangel will travel to E.D. White. Vanderbilt Catholic will travel to De La Salle. McDonald 35 will travel to Lafayette Christian. The winner of Livingston Collegiate and Frederick Douglass will travel to Archbishop Shaw. And Carver will travel to Turlings Catholic.
The Division III Select Playoff Bracket, served by walk-ons.
Sophie B. Wright will travel to Isidore Newman. Country Day will travel to University Lab. Calvary Baptist will host Northlake Christian. Dunham will host Martin Luther King Charter. Notre Dame will host Lake Charles College Prep. Episcopal will host Loyola Prep. Parkview will travel to North Caddo. And Ascension Episcopal will travel to LaPlace to play St. Charles.
The Division IV Select Playoff Bracket, insured by State Farm.
Cedar Creek will travel to Vermilion Catholic. Southern Lab will travel to St. Frederick. Hanson Memorial will travel to St. Mary. Delhi Charter will travel to St. Martin's Episcopal. Sacred Heart will travel to Washita Christian. Catholic Point Capilla will travel to Glenbrook. Ascension Catholic will travel to Riverside. And Central Catholic will host Opelousas Catholic.
The Division I non-select playoff bracket, cared for by Lake Urgent Care and Total Occupational Medicine.
Washita Parish will travel to Ruston. Benton will host Denham Springs. Zachary will host West Monroe. Southside will host North Shore. Dutchtown will host Destrehan. East St. John will travel to Houghton. Slidell will host Westgate. East Ascension will travel to Neville.
The Division II non-select playoff bracket, served by walk-ons.
Abbeville will travel to Iowa. Leesville will travel to Jennings. Iota will travel to Brobridge. Cecilia will travel to North DeSoto. Lakeshore will travel to Opelousas. Lutcher will host St. Martinville. Church Point will travel to North Vermilion. And West Feliciana will host Erath.
The Division III non-select playoff bracket, pumped by Peak Performance.
Richwood will travel to Manny. Westlake will host Rose Pine. Avoyelles will travel to St. Helena. St. James will host Lauraville. Sterlington will travel to Union Parish. Patterson will travel to Winfield. Gina will travel to Amite. And Berwick will travel to Bogalusa.
The Division IV non-select playoff bracket, insured by State Farm.
General Trias will travel to Kentwood. Welsh will travel to Oak Grove. Oakdale will travel to Haynesville. Oberlin will travel to Basile. Grand Lake will travel to Mangum. Arcadia will travel to White Castle. East Feliciana will travel to Logansport. And Homer will host Delhi.
Only 8 brackets as compared to 9 brackets from last year, but it always seems a lot when you get into the first round. Everything starts getting dwindled down a little bit week to week. And we'll continue our Louisiana Prep Scoreboard show over the next 3 weeks, I believe we have left. So we look forward to a busy week. And based on what happens tomorrow on the college front, could be a busy semifinal weekend for us and conference championship weekend on that Saturday. We'll see. Taylor has been bringing us his top 5 over the last couple of weeks. We've had top 5 in Baton Rouge. We've had top 5 in Acadiana. What's our top 5 this week?
Well, since it's playoff time right now, I wanted to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to give you the top 5 stat-wise in Louisiana. These are individual players. Passing, rushing, and receiving. We're short on time. Jimmy was wondering about rushing, so we will go with the top 5 rushing leaders in the state of Louisiana, beginning with number 1, Jalen Williams of Mangum, 2,323 yards, 36 touchdowns. Number 2 is Trey Holly, 2,100 yards, 28 touchdowns. DeMondrick Blackburn comes in 3rd from Central Catholic. He has 2,024 yards and 36 scores. Xavier Ford of Leesville in that 4 spot, 2,011 yards, 28 touchdowns. And Fred Robertson of Warren Easton, 1,944 yards, 29 scores.
I wonder who has the most carries this season. Remember last year we had
There's a kid from, I think it's Kaplan, if if I'm not
I
mistaken.
can tell you that out of those 5, Xavier Ford does 288.
Go down that list, and there's I think there's a kid from, is it Kaplan, that's somewhere over there who has a ton of carries. He's averaging over 30 carries a game. While he looks that up, Union Parish in Division III non-select.
A rematch?
Union Parish will host Sterlington in a rematch. That one's going to be a good one. Also, one of interest that intrigues me a little bit, Welsh will travel to Oak Grove in Division I. Welsh was 8-0 going into their last week of the season and got beat. And then Logansport, East Feliciana, I think East Feliciana going up to Logansport is going to be a really good one.
You know, Grand Lake was a nice story a couple of years ago. They get Mangum. A little interesting there.
Coach Wayne Wright.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you look at the bracket that we just finished, that being the Division IV, and it's something I asked Jake Martin earlier today. How big was that win for Homer, getting them that number 2 spot, or at least securing it after the win over Haynesville, and they play, 18 Delhi to open up their play after their first round bye. So
Homer had a couple of big wins. They had Oak Grove earlier in the year, and they've really done a good job. They've got a lot of experience. I think Jimmy mentioned a couple of times that it's a little bit iffy on the running back situation.
He's back from what I understand. For now, yeah.
So tune in Sunday night at 6. We'll continue this conversation with Louisiana Prep Weekly, and then next Friday night, it's the round 2 playoff edition of the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show for Coach Todd, Coach Black, for Skip and Taylor and Ryan. We'll see